Imagine witnessing this moment in person. A Royal Guard horse standing its ground, teaching a lesson no one will forget. What do you think? Did Logan deserve what happened, or was Titan just doing his duty? Drop a comment below and let us know where you're watching from. We love seeing our community from all around the world. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss tomorrow's incredible story. It's even more shocking than this one. Turn on notifications because trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. See you in the next video. He crossed the line, and the Royal Guard horse taught him a lesson he'll never forget. The sun hung high over London, casting a golden glow across the grand entrance of Buckingham Palace. The majestic iron gates gleamed under the afternoon light, standing as a symbol of tradition and history. Beyond them, the changing of the guard ceremony was about to begin, drawing tourists from every corner of the world. Among the eager crowd stood Logan Mitchell, a 35-year-old American influencer, his phone already in hand, recording snippets of the event. Unlike most visitors who watched in admiration, Logan wasn't here for the history or the spectacle. He was here for content. To him, the moment wasn't about tradition or discipline. It was about likes, views, and viral fame. As the Royal Guards marched in perfect formation, their red tunics crisp, their tall black bearskin hats standing proudly, Logan's attention shifted, his eyes locked onto something far more impressive than the soldiers, the towering jet-black Royal Guard horse standing among them. His name was Titan, and he was no ordinary horse. Standing 5 feet 8 inches at the shoulder and weighing nearly 1,700 pounds, Titan was a symbol of power, discipline, and tradition. His glossy black coat shimmered under the sunlight, his deep brown eyes unreadable but filled with wisdom. The massive stallion stood motionless, unshaken by the noise of the crowd, his presence commanding respect. But to Logan, Titan wasn't a soldier, a guardian, or a symbol of history. He was content, just another backdrop for an attention-grabbing video. Logan smirked, nudging his way through the crowd, ignoring the excited murmurs of tourists marveling at the ceremony. His eyes were locked on Titan, already picturing the perfect shot for his followers. The barriers meant nothing to him. Neither did the stern warning signs posted nearby, urging visitors to keep their distance. He wanted the shot, and nothing would stop him. As he stepped closer, a little girl in the crowd tugged on her mother's sleeve. "Mommy, isn't he not supposed to be there?" she whispered, her wide eyes watching as Logan moved toward the restricted area. The mother frowned, casting a concerned glance toward the guards, but they remained in formation, their discipline unbreakable. But Titan noticed. The massive stallion's ears flicked back slightly, his muscles tensing just enough for anyone paying attention to realize something was about to happen. Logan ignored the murmurs of the crowd as he stepped over the barrier, his phone raised high, ready to capture his perfect shot. The warnings were clear, the ropes and signs unmistakable, but to him, they were nothing more than obstacles in the way of his viral moment. Titan, however, was watching. The massive 1,700-pound stallion stood. There was a shift. A flick of his ears, a flare of his nostrils, a slight tightening in his posture. The crowd, still buzzing with excitement, barely noticed, but those who did could feel the change in the air. Logan, oblivious, kept moving closer. "All right, buddy," he muttered under his breath, his smug grin growing wider. His phone was already recording, capturing the towering black horse in perfect frame. "Let's get a shot for the followers. Maybe even a little action, huh?" He reached out, a careless, thoughtless motion, his hand stretching toward Titan's neck. A gasp rippled through the crowd. "Is he serious?" a man whispered. "He's going to regret that," another muttered. Even the Royal Guards, trained to maintain absolute discipline, exchanged the smallest, almost imperceptible glances. They couldn't break formation, but they knew what was about to happen. Titan did not move. Not yet. For a split second, Logan thought he had won. The horse stood still, his glossy coat warm under the sun. Logan's fingertips were inches away, and the self-satisfied smirk on his face grew wider. Then, Titan moved. It wasn't frantic. It wasn't reckless. It was controlled, deliberate, powerful. With a sharp, forceful snort, the massive stallion reared back, his front hooves slicing through the air, inches from Logan's face. The sound alone, a deep, thunderous whip of hooves cutting through the air, was enough to send a jolt of terror through the influencer's chest. Logan stumbled backward, his arms flailing, his phone slipping from his grip and crashing onto the pavement. The crowd gasped, then a few people laughed nervously, unable to believe what they had just witnessed. Titan landed firmly, his hooves clanking against the stone with an unmistakable finality. His dark eyes locked onto Logan, no longer still, but warning. Logan froze, his heartbeat hammering in his ears. For the first time, he realized he had just made a very, very big mistake. Logan's breath caught in his throat. The massive black stallion had just reared back, his powerful hooves slicing through the air, missing Logan by mere inches. His phone lay shattered on the pavement, a stark reminder of just how quickly things had spiraled out of control. The crowd was silent for a beat, then whispers broke out, followed by scattered gasps and nervous laughter. Some people had their phones raised, capturing the moment, their cameras trained on the influencer who had just been humbled in the most unexpected way. But Titan wasn't done yet. As Logan staggered backward, his heart pounding, the massive horse took a step forward, closing the distance between them once more. His deep brown eyes locked onto Logan, unblinking, unwavering. The message was clear. This was not a game. Logan tried to laugh it off, a shaky, forced chuckle escaping his lips. Whoa, hey, okay, I get it. You're the boss, big guy. His voice wavered as he raised his hands in mock surrender, but the truth was written all over his face. He was shaken. The crowd wasn't laughing anymore. A little boy clutched his mother's hand, his wide eyes filled with awe. Mommy, he whispered, is the horse mad at him? The woman, watching intently, shook her head slowly. No, sweetheart, she murmured. He's just making sure he's respected. Titan let out a deep, controlled exhale, his nostrils flaring. His muscles remained tense, his posture strong, unyielding. He wasn't some circus act, some photo prop for tourists. He was a guardian, a symbol of discipline, honor, and tradition. For the first time in his social media-obsessed life, Logan felt small. His eyes flicked to his broken phone, lying face down on the pavement. He had come here looking for a viral moment, and he had certainly gotten one. Just not in the way he expected. He took a slow, cautious step back. Titan stood his ground. The energy in the air was electric, the weight of the moment sinking in for everyone watching. Then, from behind the line of guards, a voice rang out, firm, authoritative, and unmistakable. Sir, step back immediately. The royal guards had seen enough. Logan barely had time to react before the stern voice cut through the tense air. Sir, step back immediately. The crowd turned as Captain Daniel Brooks, a veteran Royal Guard officer, stepped forward. His expression was unreadable, but his tone carried absolute authority. The moment was over, and Logan knew it, but Titan was still watching. The massive stallion, standing 5 feet 8 inches at the shoulder, remained rigid, powerful, unshaken. His deep brown eyes never left Logan, and though he had returned to stillness, there was an undeniable tension in his frame, as if he was ready to step in again if necessary. Logan's breath was still uneven, his pulse hammering in his ears. His phone lay shattered on the pavement, but that was the least of his concerns. He had stepped into a place he never should have, and he had learned the hard way that this wasn't some tourist attraction. It was sacred ground. Now, Captain Brooks barked. Logan snapped out of his daze, stumbling backward as he threw his hands up. All right, I'm going. His voice had lost all its usual cockiness, replaced with something that sounded an awful lot like humility. But Titan wasn't ready to let him off so easily. Just as Logan turned to retreat, the massive black stallion shifted forward, not aggressively, but deliberately. His muscled neck extended, his breath hot against Logan's back. Then a nudge, not a hard shove, not a violent push, just a firm, unmistakable gesture of dismissal. The crowd exploded. Some gasped, others laughed, but one thing was certain, Titan had made his point. Logan stumbled forward, his face turning red-hot with embarrassment. What is this horse's problem? He muttered under his breath, but even he knew Titan wasn't the problem. Captain Brooks didn't hesitate. He stepped in front of Logan, his eyes cold and unwavering. The problem, sir, is your blatant disregard for the rules. Titan is not a tourist attraction. He is a trained member of the Royal Guard, and you will show him the respect he deserves. The words hit Logan harder than he expected. For the first time, he had nothing to say. The crowd wasn't laughing at Titan anymore. They were laughing at him. Logan stood there, face burning with humiliation, as the weight of Captain Brooks's words sank in. The laughter from the crowd, the cold, unwavering stare of the Royal Guard officer, and the sheer dominance of Titan, the towering black stallion, left him completely stripped of the bravado he had walked in with. He had come for a viral moment. Now, he was the joke. Logan took another small step back, his eyes darting between the crowd and the massive horse still standing, motionless, beside him. But even in Titan's stillness, there was a message. You don't belong here. A sudden buzzing sound caught Logan's attention. His phone, or what was left of it, was vibrating on the ground, notifications pouring in. Someone must have tagged him in a post. His stomach twisted at the thought of how many people were already sharing this moment. And then reality hit him like a freight train. The cameras, phones were still pointed right at him, capturing every second of his humiliation. Logan had spent years chasing the perfect moment to go viral, but not like this. The internet was about to eat him alive. Captain Brooks stepped forward, his eyes never leaving Logan's. You need to leave, now. Logan clenched his jaw, his hands balling into fists at his sides. But what could he do? Arguing would only make things worse. With a final glance at Titan, he took a deep breath, turned on his heel and walked away, trying to ignore the cheers and claps from the crowd behind him. But just before he disappeared into the sea of tourists, something unexpected happened. Titan moved again. The massive stallion, still calm, tilted his head slightly, his eyes locking onto Logan one last time. In an emotion so subtle, so deliberate, Titan lowered his head ever so slightly, almost as if acknowledging him. It wasn't mockery. It wasn't dominance. It was a lesson, one that had been delivered without a single word spoken. For the first time all day, Logan felt something deeper than embarrassment. He felt respect. And as he walked away, he knew one thing for sure. He would never forget this moment. What a moment. This wasn't just about a tourist trying to take a selfie. This was a lesson in respect, discipline, and consequences. Logan thought he could break the rules, but Titan, the Royal Guard horse, had other plans. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think Titan's reaction was justified? Should Logan have been punished more, or do you think he learned his lesson? Drop a comment below and let us know your thoughts. Also, tell us where you're watching from. We love seeing viewers from all over the world come together for incredible stories like this. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button. There's an even bigger story coming tomorrow, and trust me, you won't want to miss it. Turn on notifications so you'll be the first to see it when it drops. Let's talk in the comments. Was this instant karma, or should Titan have let him off easier? Comment below and join the discussion.